middle class and upper middle class in India has grown so much. People can afford the same things. Like there is no like, oh my God, India is so poor. No, not everyone. Far from everyone.
Meet Tanya. Originally from Belarus, she moved to India 10 years ago after falling in love with an Indian man she met abroad. She spent 7 years in Delhi and now runs a charming Portuguese-style guest house in Goa. Tanya shared what it's like dating an Indian as an Eastern European woman, whether Delhi felt safe for foreigners, and why she chose India over the US or Europe. I'm Chernov, your insider to Expat Life. Chalo!
What's the biggest, you think, misconceptions about India? What people don't get about India?
Misconceptions is about money. People have this thing that India is poor, that, you know, like people sleep on the street, and yes, there are some people who do that, and a lot of people do it not because they don't have a home. A lot of migrant workers who have homes in the villages, they come to a big city. It's much more complicated than what it looks like. It's not, yes, poverty is shocking. And maybe that's what gets into your eyes, especially when you go to places like Taj Mahal, all the touristy places, because this is where also a lot of people gather and maybe beg for money. A lot of people see a lot of poverty, especially when they travel just for the tourists.
It's in your face.
It's in your face. Yeah, and then of course, this is an opportunity for people to beg. It doesn't mean that they're poor, but this is just, if more tourists come to Taj Mahal, more opportunity to get something from them. So that's why they gather there. But living in the city, first, you don't see it that much. And second, there are so many rich people in this country. There are so many, not even, okay, there are super rich. Of course, every country has them. You might not even see them on a regular basis, but I think the middle class and upper middle class in India has grown so much. People can afford the same things. Like there is no like, oh my God, India is so poor. No, not everyone. Far from everyone. Of course, the disparity is still there, but there is so many more. People travel, people stay in nice hotels, people eat in nice restaurants. And another misconception, I think, is about food, that you will only sit there and eat with your hands. By the way, eating with your hands is much nicer. I think the food tastes so much better.
I like it as well.
But it has to be Indian food, right? And you can go to a restaurant, in Delhi especially, and you pay a bomb for Indian food too. It depends on the restaurant, depends who is the chef, it depends how it's made. So India has it all, but a lot of times people who never traveled, they just think about the elephants, the poor people, the beggars, and some scenes from movies, especially back home. It was popular in like 50s, 60s movies when somebody in a leather jacket all dancing, and then he loves this girl, but this girl does not love him, or the parents are against it, and then it's all big drama. So it's like, I think this concept, and that everybody just gets up and starts dancing randomly, you know, that doesn't happen. It does not happen.
I think another misconception is that the poor people are happy.
Oh yeah.
Many actually people say it, like even people who I interview, they think that poor people are happy, which is, I think it's...
I think everyone has their own sorrow and joy. They appear happy or they appear content because no one is shedding their troubles. No one is sharing in that sense, right? And I don't think there is need to, because it's something personal. But to say that the poor people are happy, because everyone wants a better life, a better future for their kids. They want to grow in terms of position, or in terms of people want more power, people want more money.
Yeah.
So they are content, but they embrace what they have. I wouldn't say that just by embracing your current circumstances doesn't mean that you're content with current circumstances.
You're like more accepting to what you have, but it doesn't necessarily say that you are happy.
Right.
Yeah.
We went somewhere in Delhi for that, one of the touristy places, nice garden. There was a gardening, lots of people were gardening, right?
Yeah.
And I think I remember somebody said it that time, saying, oh, look, even the gardener is so happy, smiling. But if a person is smiling to you, it just shows that maybe, it doesn't mean that they're happy. It just, they will smile and then they will go and, you know, it's some respect, I guess. This is how they greet, because they might not be able to speak. They don't know how to say something. They don't know how to, maybe feeling shy to say good morning, whatever. They just smile because they're just greeting you. But can you just make a statement that the poor people are happy? No.
Because the population is so big in India, the probability of having an experience in India is 100 times more than an experience anywhere else in the world. So for you to see a happy person in India, it's multiplied by 100. For you to have one bad experience in India, it's also multiplied by 100. Just because the probability of you bumping into 50 people a day, back home you might bump into only one person.
Yeah.
So you just remember that one person that you interacted, but in India, you're meeting 100, 1,000 people, you're coming across them on the road, in the car. So then you make these assumptions based on probability.
It was built as a hospital and never became one because the doctor himself passed away. So the whole family moved in here.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of relatives, and they were saying that it was a very, very nice, happy place with lots of children running around.
Yeah.
But now, 150 years later, it's still a very happy place. But now we have a small hotel and a restaurant on property, and we moved in here 1.5 years ago.
Nice. The building is just beautiful. The place is gorgeous. It's like next to the forest, right?
Yeah, this is all tropical forest at the back.
So it's still pretty central. But next to the forest and just next to the main road, but it's kind of feel just nice.
Yes, it is nice, especially in the morning. When the
Especially in the
birds
morning,
are singing and you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, and then it's only like 10 minutes to the beach, so which is a good thing.
What was the most shocking thing or most different thing for you about dating Indian guy?
I think it's just sometimes like in the beginning, because I think our cultures are so similar. The values are the same. Even now, maybe I'm just saying I was a little shocked to come back home, and it was difficult to adjust because your mindset changes. Mindset is one thing, but cultural values, I think, is a different thing. So I think our nations generally, but I'm a believer that all people are the same anyway, no matter where you're from. But if you talk about cultural, I think our cultures are very similar in a lot of ways. But maybe a little bit, I think family is there. Even for us, family is there. But here it's a little bit...
But maybe in India it's even more ties, more connections, bigger extended family.
The bigger families were there initially, but not anymore. Because see, if you think of India way back, it was all agricultural. So the concept behind having a big family is you have more hands to help you till the field.
Yes.
But then family drama exists all across the world. Families split. The large estate became smaller. Then it was impossible to have big families with a small estate because now you had more mouths to feed on a smaller place. So people kept on separating and segregating. So the concept these days, you don't see that many big families or that many families staying within families. And my mom and dad, when they married, they're from two different religions. It was an intercaste marriage more than 50 years ago.
Probably very unique.
Very unique.
Yeah, very unique.
So my mom did not end up living with her mother-in-law, but in that sense, she passed away when my dad was very young.
Yeah.
So they had a different experience. We don't live with my parents. And so automatically, based on their experience, our experience is evolving, is changing. And there are many such stories and many such families like us.
Yeah.
So not everyone is in a joint family. Not everyone is living together. And then also understand that people move. Why? For opportunity, for travel, for education.
Yeah.
So people at an early age, like how I went to Switzerland, so many people go to Europe, Switzerland, Australia, US, and then if they get a job there, they settle there.
But surprisingly, some go and come back with the same mindset, like nothing changes. Like it depends on the person. Like they would study abroad for 10 years, they would work, and then they come back like nothing changed. Like they keep...
oh, really?
Yeah.
We have friends
We have friends like this. Like you just don't believe that they lived abroad because you feel like that they've been doing what they're doing all their lives, because a lot of times when you go abroad, you learn something, other habits, but no. From the small habits, which are different, for example, we never, Indian families live together on the bed. We never back home have anybody sitting on anybody's bed, like in a bedroom.
Wait, again, so
if people can come to your room, which is fine, like but people can come and sit on your bed. Back home, your bed, like nobody would come to the bedroom and sit on the bed. So in India, people can like come and sit on the bed and have a conversation. So first I was like, why are we sitting on the bed? Like what?
Yeah, it's like more private space. It's like your space, right? Kinda.
Just for us, it was always like you just sleep there. You don't sit on it.
You can sit in it if there is no room, no space in apartment, let's say. Then in this case, but in most of the like Russian, Belarusian apartments, you have a living room. So basically you spend time in the living room.
You spend time in the living room,
Yeah.
And then like even if I want to talk to my mom, like I don't see me and my mom going to the bedroom and sitting on the bed, like on the bed.
Yeah, but
We
for
do
me,
it
it's
in
very
the
natural.
kitchen. We do it in the
Yeah,
They
kitchen.
do it in the kitchen.
They never do it in the kitchen.
We never do it in the kitchen because that's the place you cook and that's the
And also
place.
there are no chairs and table in
You don't.
Belarusian
So the concept
home
is
is like
different.
Concept,
chairs
yeah,
and
and
table.
because they're helpers or like they're cooks and a lot
And you don't
of
be
them-
talking and smelling the chili burning and coffee.
and kitchen
Yeah,
is always
that's
isolated.
funny.
For us, like any conversation happens in the kitchen.
Yes,
So like
that's
the
true.
most secrets come out in the kitchen, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But here, and then first I was like, I am not sitting on the bed. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it just was weird.
Yeah.
Then you learn, but then, yeah, it's just different. But then if I said, let's go sit in the kitchen, I think
Yeah.
that would be the same impression.
Why would you say?
For you, Rohan, was it weird to date like Caucasian girl, like something unique about her, or like strange, or interesting?
It wasn't strange because it comes back to travel.
Yeah.
When you realize, because I would come home every year, right? And every year that you come back, you would come back just for a short time, for a couple of weeks, because that's the amount of holiday you had. And my only goal was to come spend time with family and then go back to work. Because
Yeah.
I left when I was 17 years old and worked abroad for 20 plus years. So coming back home, every time you come back, you come back for your parents. Because by then your friends have moved on, your circle isn't the same anymore. There was nothing binding me or keeping me back. And every time I came back, I realized that I was changing, but the environment wasn't. There was a point when I couldn't relate to the friends I grew up with or the friends from school because we had nothing in common.
Yeah.
So I was changing to a different person through my experiences, but they were still in that bubble. So I'm not marrying anyone from here, for sure. And because my parents eloped and got married, that kind of gave me the free chit. So my joke with my parents was, you all sent your parents a telegram in those days. I told them, when I get married, I'll send you an email.
Yeah.
So, which kind of almost did happen.
We just had a court marriage.
We had a court marriage in Delhi. It was very simple. And yeah, then we actually got married the way we wanted to in Georgia on a vineyard.
This is all original, and this is how they used to lock it up.
Oh wow. That's the original.
That's original, and I think it was built with the house because there's no chance you can drill that long inside.
So that's the like a piece of beton, piece of like concrete.
Concrete, yes.
Concrete. Oh.
This is us. So this is our dining hall.
Yeah.
Because monsoons here are pretty severe, so we do have to clear out the whole outdoor area. Because in Goa, monsoons start from June and they last till September, but this year till October inclusive. So it was a very long monsoon.
Yeah.
It just kept on raining. But people can come and dine here. Otherwise, we do the check-in here. I have people just chilling, sitting, playing mahjong or something like that. Land this side and that side. It was all one estate. But of course, over years, just like anywhere else in the world, it gets split into between families. So I'm not sure I'm in the right place to talk about wealth. I don't really know, but and there's so many owners, so many.
It was many owners.
Many owners because in Goa there's a Portuguese law when it comes to property. So pretty much anyone who is a family member or just even distant relative can claim the property. So it's very complicated. So especially with these ancestral homes, that's why it's really hard to buy. It's really hard to do anything with them because you might purchase and then it turns out to be that it was somebody else's. So there's a lot of you have to hire a lawyer, you have to go through all the paperwork before you even rent it out, before you lease it out like we did. Everything has to be so black and white. But it's a very tedious process and a lot of lawyers, you have to hire a good lawyer to get it checked.
So you're leasing it?
Yes, we're leasing it for long term, for 5 years.
5 years. Any chance to buy it, you think? Or it doesn't make sense for business?
It would make sense if it's your own house and doing something there, but buying it, especially in this, I don't know if it's even would be on sale.
What would be the price of this type of?
I can't even think about it because this is literally a third of a house because this house was split into 3. So I'm not sure if people want to sell it. And see, it's not only about selling because the Goan roots, the family roots, they're pretty strong. So they wouldn't want to sell it because there's so many memories and everything. They might lease it out for other business to make some money. But I think they wouldn't want, like, I don't think the whole family can agree on selling it. Like, it's a very rare case.
We've got one problem. You don't know me well enough because I'm always the one asking the questions. And I'd love for us to get closer. To fix that, find me on Instagram. That's why you get behind the scene look at this channel. I regularly share insights, analysis about YouTube, and even details about my YouTube earnings. Plus, I talk about my life principles and take you along on my travel across Asia, and not only Asia. For example, this is beautiful Australia. So trust me, you will love it. To follow me, just search for Max Chernov on Instagram, click the link in description or scan this QR code. And let's connect there and be real friends, okay?
How was life in Delhi?
I enjoyed it. I think it was very nice to discover initially. A lot of shocking things in the beginning, but then
like what?
I think the shocking was I was trying to understand why and how and all these questions like why can't they just do this or why can't they just fix the roads, why can't they just
the small things on the road,
small things that because you came from a place which looks like it's a little bit more organized, you think you know it all. And a lot of people make the same mistake because you come to India like, but why would they sleep here? They could have built like a little home or whatever. A lot of why. Why it's
like that.
But guess what? It's a big country. Yeah. It's the most populated in the world right now.
Yeah.
I think they have their reasons why. It's not because people are just not smart enough or they cannot do it or they did not come up with a solution. No, India has its own challenges. It's so big. I think the problem is because it's completely overpopulated, of course. Yeah. It's just very difficult to manage. But it doesn't mean that they're doing something wrong. It changes, but it changes in its own way. And there's different obstacles that it needs to overcome. So I started doing a lot of charity. So I met a lot of, I went to the slums. I spoke to so many people. I still don't understand exactly. I mean, I understood a lot more, but I still don't know what to do with all this. There's no solutions, So I cannot judge people why still some of them sleep on the road, why there are so many beggars on the road.
Yeah.
There is a reason for it.
And Delhi itself is 30 million people, 25.
That's just crazy.
It's huge.
It's just huge.
Just the scale of it is insane.
But I think it was shocking in the beginning, but then once you're there and you stop noticing so many things. So what I thought about it in the beginning to what I am thinking about it now, it's like two different worlds. And now we just went back in July for 2 days before we traveled to Belarus in summer. And when we came back, we're like, we lived here, we drove here. How could I even think of doing it? Now I would be terrified because we don't realize how we stop being used to it. So now I'm like, wow, we managed this, I cannot imagine. But living there was just such a normal thing, every day.
So you got used to it?
You get used to it. You get used to anything.
Yeah.
So the thing is, had I moved from Bahamas to Goa, I think it would have been difficult then because you're experiencing the white sand beaches, the blue ocean, and then I think I would always be comparing the two. But then I had to have the adventure of work. I've never worked in India. I had a more American European mindset in terms of how work should be done. Black and white and ethical and this and that. Then you come back to India and then you're thrown into that environment where you need to run a business and realize there is no black and white, it's all grey and different shades of grey. So that was very interesting, but it also turned me in, it developed that side of me that I hadn't experienced. Running your own business is so different from working for someone.
Yeah.
Because the obligations, the pressure, it's a completely different feel. And multiply that by doing business in Delhi.
Out of all
multiply
places.
In difficulty, that's scale 10 plus.
But I remember when the problem started, there were so many problems with licensing and then new rules and regulations and this and that.
The government changes, the new one changes the law. There's nothing stable.
But the first few times, Rohan was just if he had gray hair, then all turned gray, everything was end of the world. He's like, I don't know if we're going to manage or not. And I remember the change after a few years, I was like, when pandemic happened and, all these things were happening.
Yeah.
And I said, what do you think? He's like, it will solve somehow.
Somehow, yeah.
Because somehow it always does. It works out eventually. But even when you think it's the bottom, there is no further, and suddenly everything works out.
Yeah.
Suddenly everything is fine. How it works, I don't know, but it works somehow.
How did you feel living in Delhi as a woman? Was it safe for you? Did you feel safe?
I felt absolutely fine.
fine. Because there are like a lot of people say that it can be unsafe.
They call it a rape capital of the world. I mean, there's a lot of things happening. But then if you really read the news also, like like how things happen, you know, like you have to use common sense. Like nobody cancel that. Like I'm not gonna go walk around, you know, dressed inappropriately in the middle of some dark, you know, dodgy area.
Yeah.
If I go somewhere, I could get into Uber. I call Uber last minute. You know, everything's on your phone. You know, you can see the name of the driver. Everything is at least checked. I'll share my trip with Rohan, for example. Especially if I have to travel in the night, and we always knew where each other. Or you can be on the phone, or you know, like you can just be on the phone when you get into the cab, saying yes, I got into the cab. So even the driver knows. You're not walking. You're not going to places where you could potentially be, you know, in danger.
Harassed,
yeah, you go to nice place, you go to the tested restaurants, or you know, and you go, you know who you're going with. So I think if you use common sense, I never felt unsafe in Delhi.
There's so many stories, right, about people leaving their villages and moving to a big city, and they go through a lot of abuse and all. Also, why? Because they're coming from such a protected environment where they haven't experienced the ugly truth. But when that comes into their face, that becomes a whole different issue. And some people are apt to deal with it, some people can't deal with it. It all depends on, again, education, upbringing, what kind of friend circle you have, what's your mental thinking.
But we know so many women, we know women who are like in their, older women, single women, they would not even go in the evening. Like they would say that, oh, because my driver cannot come to, because the gate would be close to like the market, let's say. She would be like, no, I cannot walk 3 meters
to the gate.
To the gate because it's not safe. Even like women who are like twice my age, they would say that. They feel unsafe. They would not go somewhere in the night. They would not go somewhere, you know, in a new place because they feel unsafe. But it's all like because they grew up with this. Somebody been telling you from the day one that it's unsafe, unsafe, unsafe. You start believing it's unsafe.
It's like Western women or Indian women?
Indian women.
No, but I remember growing up.
Also,
even in Darjeeling, my neighbors, five girls, sisters, I remember them having to be home by 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And this was when I was, 10, 12, 14, 16. It was always the same thing. There was an unsaid rule, curfew is at 6 o'clock. Girls are back home by 6 o'clock.
Curfew like not official?
It's not official,
like
but it was the house rule.
For the girls?
Yeah.
For the girls,
And considering that Darjeeling is a very small, it was a very small village back then, because everyone knew everyone. Growing up as a kid, it was also annoying because you couldn't do anything.
If you do anything,
No, the report would be straight back home. Like, oh, we saw Rohan over here and he was with this one and they were doing this.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't need CCTV cameras back then. You had all your uncle and aunties looking out for you.
So we have 3 rooms, all of different sizes. And right now I have one to show you.
Yeah, this is my room, by the way.
This is the biggest one that you have. It's a family room, so you have the 2 beds upstairs. We have one smaller room. We call it the small room, but it's actually a good hotel room size. But of course, we're spoiled by the other 2. This is good for 2 people. Yeah. It's a queen size bed. And before in Portuguese homes, there were never bathrooms inside. So now, of course, it changed. Every room has a bathroom. Every room has an AC for the comfort.
Who done the bathrooms?
Before us. We were very lucky that we found a place.
But for you, did you have to do any renovation when you?
Well, of course, what we did, like some furniture which we could use, we put all the poles, so it's a 4-poster beds, and we had to repaint everything. We put our decorations, so most of the items, this is from the travels from, this is Rohan went to Haiti, because he used to work on the cruise ships, and then wherever we've been together, so we used to get those items, and now it's all over. So like those items are from Bali actually, the hat and this
thing?
No, this one is the original Portuguese bed. It used to be like as a double bed.
This is I love the window.
No, this is just a small closet.
No.
Yeah.
I thought it's interconnected with that room.
This guy is from Bali.
Yeah, it looks like it's from Bali.
Yeah. This is from Haiti. Those are originally, this is where they kept, this is for butter. This came with the house. Small pieces from all over. This is my aunt, she makes those paintings. Nice. This is from Estonia, from Portugal. This cabinet itself is more than 100 years old.
Oh.
Everything inside, from Cuban cigars to Russian dolls to Belarusian hand-painted Easter eggs. That's us. The rest is came with us.
You probably can sell it and make a fortune, but you need to sell it to Europe.
What, the cabinet?
The cabinet.
Yeah,
to
not
the US.
It came with the house. I think it belongs here for now.
It's interesting. I think you actually have these hand gestures of Indian. A little, yeah. You do it when you start like speaking about something that matters for you. You start like gesticulating, like in India. I think.
Do Indian really do this?
I don't know. I observed it from other Indian friends.
Okay, then fine.
So I guess it's some common
I thought it was
pattern.
more Italian.
Italian is more like. Yeah.
But that's true.
No, but the little one.
That's all.
So Lev, he's going to be 2 on 1st of Jan. And then if I ask him something that he can't find, I'm like, where is it? He goes, I don't know. So I mean, he's got this, and it's so cute.
I don't know.
But then you think about it from where? It's from us or the staff or it's you just.
I don't know. It's like.
Yeah, it's like I don't know where it's gone.
Like,
where is
I don't
it?
know.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, I guess it's there somewhere.
But for your kid, it's amazing. He speaks like how many languages? He understands already.
Understands a lot.
Like a lot of languages.
He understands Russian. He understands English. He understands Hindi. He's very fluent in Nepalese. He's really good. Yeah, and I'm sure he's going to get Konkan, which is the local language, when he starts school.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started repeating everything twice. School.
Do you speak to him in Nepalese? In Nepali?
I speak to him in English. She speaks in Russian, and we're both waiting for him to speak in English or Russian. Then he will not speak. But when we're not speaking, or he takes his own time. So when she's talking to him in Russian, he'll only answer in English. When I talk to him in English, he will answer in Russian. So he's also having a good laugh.
How was it having a child in India? Was it like giving a birth here and like raising first 2 years? What's the experience like for you?
I think the whole experience, first of all, the doctors, I think, are very good in India. The medical care is good. I never had doubts about that. Like and I remember one girl, she was telling me about this because she said, population keeps on growing. So the doctors must know what they're doing, you know? Like, why are you worried? Because somebody asked her also if she's gonna go back home to give birth, and she's like, why? They're doing it, like they have more practice because they have so much population. There's so many people giving birth that they probably know what they're doing. And you know, I do believe this because first of all, we were very lucky because we had a baby in Delhi and in one of the hospitals. And then the doctor, the gynecologist, was a very good friend of ours who we knew for years. So we felt even more taken care of because, of course, she was always there to check, and she was there for Christmas checkup. Then she was there on 28, 29, 29th I was admitted. And then we're like, please don't happen it on the 1st. He should have come on 29th, 30th, 31st. Well, we said, Happy New Year on 31st. Anyway, he came on the 1st of Jan.
1st of Jan.
I was impressed with the nurses for sure, and the hospital, and all the nurses. So I guess every state also has a particular profession that they're into. So if you talk about all the ones who are doing like plumbing and electrical, they come from Bihar. The ones who are into carpentry, they come from Bengal. All the nurses come from the south. Kerala has all the nurses that are going to every single city in India.
Why is that?
I think they also have good schools.
I think it's also hard, the education that they have, or they have the hospital background there. But yeah, all the nurses were all from from Kerala. And so pleasant and professional. And
this is our boutique store. We recycle from Indian saris. So all of this is pure silk. And all of this is Indian saris. There's some men's shirts also because this is a bestseller apparently. I thought all the ladies, but no.
This one precisely?
These are men's shirts, yes. So please feel free to do a little shopping later.
Yes, I was actually thinking about it. So the price is 3,000
rupees, yeah.
Oh, that's like $46. Pretty affordable.
It is pretty affordable. We keep it affordable because we want people to keep on coming, buying, and enjoying it because it's one of a kind. Also, nobody else will have the same thing as you do if you purchase from us.
you're one of the perfect examples of Indian who lived abroad, like studied abroad, and then decided to move back.
Yeah, which is a very small minority apparently, because
But now it's growing. That's what I heard.
Yes,
at
yes,
least.
yes.
It's
So
a
more
comfort for
Indians
your
want
food.
to come back to India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Given a choice, I think everyone would, but it depends what reasons they left in the first place. So if some families, they are escaping
Yeah.
pressure.
that restriction or that pressure. So for them it's an escape, so they want to leave it behind. For others, it was out of necessity for a better future, for more money, for a better career. And even the ones who do get married, so surprisingly a lot of Indians get married abroad,
Yeah.
but they come back to get married and find a wife who's Indian. And the wife who's Indian has never left India, but decides to get married and go to a foreign country that she's never been
She would
to.
follow the husband.
Because she's following
so the
the
husband
husband.
will come back, get married in India, and take the wife with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like from here to
Yeah.
a new world. The husband would be working all the time. The wife would be at home in a brand new country. Also very difficult.
Yes, the language, the culture, to fit in a new culture, everything. So that's the kitchen and bar area.
So Goa is very famous for gin. They have some amazing brands of gin
Local.
that are made locally.
I think we need to get him to try some penny also.
Yeah,
You'll have it.
you have to try it.
Sure, now or later?
Whenever you
Cuisine.
want.
Let's do it.
You want to do it?
Sure.
Karen, a shot of coconut fenny, please. Bottoms up. Cheers.
Cheers. Very strong.
Nice. It is strong, yeah. Thank you.
In India, surprisingly, Indians go out and eat Indian food. The second, they prefer Chinese and Oriental, and the third, I would say, is Italian, which is also now a close second. So at least now we have two of the three that we cater to. We have a fantastic Italian and a Pan-Asian menu. And by next year, we'll have Eastern European as well
Yeah.
in the making.
Oh, definitely. You have to
Why
add
not?
some Belarusian food. What it would be?
Draniki, for
Draniki.
example.
Draniki,
Yes, and pilmeni.
pelmeni. Oh, pelmeni could work actually, because pelmeni is famous. Like Russian pelmeni, I have some Chinese friends. They actually like Russian pelmeni.
And
So you
borscht.
can.
But the same
borscht.
momos, like he comes
right.
from Darjeeling where momos, it's the same dumplings, right? It's very similar.
Similar,
It's
yeah.
just the way we fold them and we boil them, they steam it. So that's the difference.
Steam is like manti, basically like Kazakh manti. If you steam it,
Yeah.
it's actually different taste if you steam it or boil it.
Yeah, it is different. And then of course in momos also you add more like ginger. There's like a little bit more flavor. We keep it very simple, right? With like onion and salt, pepper, and that's to the max.
Yeah. Okay. When you launch it, I'll come again for Belarusian/Russian/Eastern European food.
Yeah. Because we already have hachapuri on the menu.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Hachapuri.
because he loved it in Georgia, and of course because we have the base, the pizza base, because we make it all here, right?
Yeah.
So if the bread is good, also, we cannot replicate the same cheese, but we try to do it as close as possible. So
Yeah.
it tastes really nice, but of course, not 100% Georgian, but as close as you can get.
What's the biggest lesson that India taught you?
Go with the flow. I think that's. You just have to go with the flow. The first time when I just reached in it, the first lady I met, I was on this internations,
Yeah, this
this
networking
idea where you
organization.
meet people and whatever.
Yeah.
So she wrote to me, she said, let's meet for coffee. First time I went on my own into the metro and all this. So I met her. Very strange lady, very. She lived in Netherlands and Russian origin, something. But I remember her so well because she was telling me, she said, no, Tatiana, India is, you have to accept Delhi. Otherwise, the city will not accept you. And I was like, yeah, whatever, And then she was telling me that, like look around, people driving like so close to each other. There must be something that they can feel it, like there's like the energy flow and blah, blah, blah. And then, you have to, like they feel it because they don't crash, they don't bump into each other. And they know who is beeping to, I was like, how can you know who is beeping to, like, if you're driving and then all of them are beeping, how do you know? And I'll tell you one thing. When I started driving, I know exactly who is beeping to me. I know who is beeping and why. I don't know how you know, but you
Yeah.
know. And going with the flow, meaning like what she said about Delhi. She said you either accept Delhi or Delhi will not accept you. This is when people, and I've seen it, because you either love it or hate it. Unfortunately, there is really hardly in between. Because even the days when you're not in a good mood and you start complaining and you start saying, oh, this city and, you know, these people and this and that. And guess what? Things keep on happening. So we were talking about it. We had to be so careful. If he starts like this, I'm like, no, don't say anything else because, you know, your day it's just going to keep on happening. It feels like the city or whatever is there, it just gives you more traffic. It will give you somebody bumping into it. It will give you somebody saying something to you. So you have to be really watching what you're doing. You have to go, like you have to get into that flow. And then if nothing is happening on your time, it will happen when it will happen. I'm so sorry, but nothing you can do, you know, you can only try, but there is no point losing it. Like no point stressing about it. You just have to.
The main thing is try. Because many people also use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, why try? It's not going to work out. I'm like, no, but at least try.
No, you have to try.
So you can't use that also as an excuse not to try.
How you perceive happiness and how you perceive happiness, is it the same or it's different? Let's say for you, Rohan, like how you were brought up and like how you're developed as a person, like what's happiness for you?
My concept of happiness is at the end of the day, I want to have a comfortable life, right? And a comfortable life means also having money. But money is not happiness. It is a means to an end. Happiness is the clear thinking. If I can go to bed and sleep good at night and I have a clear conscience because I run a clean business, I'm ethical in that sense, I'm able to provide for the family, then I'm happy. To see the spark on the little one running around this space and growing up makes me happy.
Yeah.
To have a wife as supportive as her, knowing that she's always going to be my backbone. And anytime I do have a bad day, I have someone to talk to.
Yeah.
We have this, right, communication behind us, that makes me happy. So my thing is at the end, okay, fine, 10 years ago, wasn't a family guy. My expectations were different, but now it's more family-centric. It's more, at the end, I think as people, we're similar. And do good, be good. I'm not too much into preaching and religion. Not religious by any way, but I think be a good person, do good. And the one thing that she did teach me is do it out of the goodness of your heart, not to expect anything in return. Because the minute you start expecting, you kind of make a secret list of I have done so much for you and this is what you have done for me in return. When you go that route, you will always overshadow yourself and you will never be open to true happiness.
I think true happiness comes from if you do something for others. I'm not saying that you just should open like the kitchen and feed the people free of charge, nothing like that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be doing when people are just completely using you, because that also, but if there is a balance and if you feel like doing something for someone and you can do it, not in a loss to you, but you can do something good for other people, why not do it? But don't expect a thank you, because that's the worst. First, you'll never get it.
Yeah.
Second, if
You
do
can
it,
get it, but you don't know.
See,
And if you don't get it, you are upset.
I think the main thing, you can make a difference in people's lives. The same with the charity for so long. The result, I don't know, but maybe there is a result. But I don't think life or whatever is there doesn't let you see it. You know, the same as revenge. Like when you want to punish someone, like you just see that happening like right in front of your eyes, that, you know, the person who did you wrong, that they're suffering in front of you, and you just, you know, we all been through that, you always want to pay back for something. I think eventually when you really, like, maybe people get punished for what they do. Everybody has a different story, but I think life will never show it to you, because who are you? Are you God? Like, are you punishing someone? No. Maybe somebody else will punish them somewhere, but you're not there to see it. And maybe you will even see it, but you will care so little about it, so you'll be like, if it was like 10 years back, maybe you cared. Now nobody cares. Now life changed. So I think the same with the thank you. Maybe there is a book, maybe like even if you talk about us, maybe there was some book, some theory, some word from someone that changed your life. So that's why I keep on telling people, even for charity or doing something for someone else, do it. Because you never know how it will affect someone. Doing something is better than doing nothing. But you don't know what will actually trigger something. Maybe there's somebody in the one of those homes that we visited, you know, maybe some child will remember me somewhere. or maybe they'll just get the book that we gifted them. I would not even remember which child, which book, but maybe it changed his life somehow. So this is the theory of this. So don't expect anything from anyone. I think the less you expect, the better. But once you do, you're proud of yourself also, because you have all this, you know, you've done it, and you can do it also. So why not?
What's the meaning of life for you?
For me, life is about writing your own story, not living someone else's. I'm at this chapter in my life. Delhi was another chapter. Goa was the beginning of a new one, and 5 years later, because we tend to move places every 5 years, we don't know where we'll be next. But it's about you writing your chapter, living by your rules, but having a core foundation. And we have similar backgrounds and in terms of family values. So the foundation is strong. The foundation is probably what brought us together. But now we are at a point that we are creating our own story, and you want to do something that you do it for your little one. We don't know what world we're going to leave him to, what's going to happen in the next 20 years when he grows up. But at least this is his childhood right now, so we're trying to recreate the best that we can give him. And I think that's what life is about. It's not about you, it's about what you create around you.
Nice.
You just have to enjoy the moment. Like if you're going to be waiting till you're going to get more money, you're going to be waiting till you move to a nicer place, nicer home. You know what, you're going to wait for the rest of your life, because it's just not going to be good enough. Nothing is ever going to be good enough. Because we always, like, you know, like you move to, or you visit a place which you dreamt of, something goes wrong there too, or something is not what you expected. And this expectations, it just irritates me, the whole concept of it. Because expectations is what? It's something that people always say, oh, I didn't expect that. Or but it's basically what you had in mind and it didn't happen. That's your broken expectations. But if you do something good, nobody came to you like, oh, I expected that, you know, Rohan, well done, I expected that. No. You know what I mean? Like, people was like, I didn't expect that. But who writes? Nobody can say in advance what the ideal world. But if something goes according to not what they like, it's always didn't meet the expectations. So that's all nonsense. So it can happen anywhere. So waiting for something better kind of takes away the moment. I'm not saying we're also grounded and all sitting here so happy 24/7 and living in the moment completely. Of course, we wish for better things also. But if you enjoy, you enjoy. You also have to enjoy. Because sometimes when you really wish for something else, you forget about people around you in the moment. And nobody wants to talk to a little grouch, you know, from morning till night. You have to smile at least, I guess. That's the meaning. You just have to enjoy what you have.